Hello, welcome to another episode of the G.I Joe New News Review. I'm David Allen, and the G.I Joe Hslab Snowcat has funded. We are currently at 8239. So 8,000 backers, 239. So we've got 6 days left. So the ending is Thursday, I believe. The 14th, if I'm not mistaken. Let's make sure on here. It says 6 days, 4 hours, and 0 minutes and 24 seconds, and it's ticking down. So we are funded finally. It's taken us quite a long time to get funded. Let's see, what's today's date? Today is uh, 8th, the 8th of August. So it's taken a little bit over a month to fund this. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we are funded. And so I also adjusted my lighting, and hopefully this is much better lighting and you guys can see what I'm doing and it's clear. And so I wanted to get those gliders, like I said I was going to get the other day for the previous video, to show you. These are the gliders that Eric Eman created, the Cobra Command Attack Glider Viper. There's the Cobra version, and then there's a Joe version. So these are not approved by Hasbro. They are unauthorized. They're numbered by Eric Eman. So there's a limited amount of these that were made. They're very similar to the vintage packaged ones, though. The paper and cardboard are very light. So I'm going to open this one up. I'm going to put it together, and I'm going to see if a classified figure can go in this. And then I will put it back in the box after that. So that was the whole idea to do this. I might as well, since if it's classified scale and we can use a classified figure with it, we have plenty of classified figures now that might be cool with it being in this. So let's see. Let's get this out, see if this is classified scale. So then there's a whole letter. I bought it at Joe Fest a while ago. There's some blueprints. Blueprints there. There's a letter from Joe Fest. So there you go. Actually, I had it upside down. So it's really cool. I wonder if the blueprints are identical to the ones that was released originally for this. I don't have a vintage version of this. So I would have to hope that somebody in the chat has the vintage ones and they can comment. And then it has a file card. There's the file card, and it says on the file card, Viper Pilot, code name, the Enemy. All Cobra Troopers were called the Enemy. And it's really weird that they all have the same name, because they're, I guess, the bad guys, so they were the Enemy. So there's the fuselage, I guess you can call it, of the glider. It has this apparatus here to hold different parts. On this side, there's the Cobra logos. On this side, there's Cobra logos. This side is camouflaged. All right, so then there's a bag with some stuff in it. I'm going to open this bag up and see if my information is accurate on this. Let's see. There's O-rings. There's a whole bunch of O-rings in here. There's a Screaming Eamon Customs card. And then the two little wings. They both say Cobra Viper on it. So there's two little slits on either end that these probably go in. Based on the art, goes that way, and that way. There. So I have them both on there like that. All right, so then we got a bunch of O-rings, and it says, please read, due to inherent variations in the thickness of the new material from which the Viper is constructed, a piece of blue vinyl tape has been installed on one side of each tactical stabilizer tab as a precautionary measure to ensure a secure fit. However, the presence of that tape may result in your vertical stabilizers fitting extra tightly in their slots, so please take care when installing them by firmly supporting the glider wing as the area of the at the area of the slot, and do not use excessive force in order to avoid breaking the wings tips. You can remove, reposition, or replace the tape as needed. Thank you. So there's apparently some tape of some sort on these, on the bottoms. So there you go. All right. So I'm going to utilize my corporate officer that we opened up the other day. I'm going to take out his backpack, and I'm going to take out. I'm probably going to leave his gun on here because I want to see if I can maybe put him on the glider with his gun, because we know that these feet rockers turn and stuff like that. So we probably get a cool angle like that, right? Kind of like that. We'll see if that will hold on here. Let's see. There are these two little. Oh, one of the wings came out, so I can see why he said to be careful with these wings. All right, so let's see. Let's put that back in there. Stay in there. Don't come out. All right, so there's a hole in the backpack, and then there's a little peg on the back of this. I'm going to try to even that in there. See if that holds. Doesn't hold very tight. And there goes one of these stabilizers again. So these stabilizers are not on very tight. They are not in here very tight. So let's see. Put this back in there again. Maybe I need to like switch stabilizers or something, because it seems like they're too wobbly. But I want to. My main goal is to see if this holds the figure. All right, so, oh, there goes the stabilizer again. Let's see. I'm just going to take the stabilizer off for now, because I want to. My main concern is this. See if this figure holds. Now there's little holes here, there, like that, I guess. That. See, there's the figure like that. But it does not hold very well. And there's nothing for when you do this, for it to land and have like wheels or anything. There's no wheels on this. So it doesn't really work very well for this particular situation. Maybe if you like put his hand up there or something like that. There goes the other stabilizer. So these stabilizers do not stay on, and the figure does not stay on very well with this. So I'm wondering what these O-rings are for. If they're to hold him in place, or what. It doesn't make sense. They wouldn't work on him anyways, because you can't get it around there. So I'm not sure what these O-rings are for. Let's look at this directions and see if there's something in here that can help us figure this out, because obviously it doesn't. They're uniform. They're uniform, so they're both the same exact things. Hey Zazel, Club's House, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us tonight. So let's see. It says punch the outline piece. So there's things that you're supposed to do to this. I guess there's outlines. I don't see where that is. It says punch the outline pieces out of the graphic foam. Punch out the 2 holes and 2 tabs in the glider. So, all right. So they're saying there's 2 holes. Let's see. I'm going to take my figure off. So they're saying that these 2 holes are supposed to be punched out, which it looks like they're already punched out, right? And there's no perforations here that it shows where that is, but it does have this part perforated where the glider wings went, the little stabilizer wings, right? So those are already perforated. So that's supposed to slide on, and the figure is supposed to go around that. So this goes up. Oh, I see how that's supposed to work. So that's how you're supposed to strap the figure on to keep it on there. So you put him on the peg hook. Again, I will use the peg hook and we'll put him on there. All right, so he's on there. He's on the peg hook. So you're supposed to use these little elastics to go over the figure and that part to hold him on there, which seems a bit cumbersome to me to do that. But I'm going to do what they asked us to do in the directions. So it's supposed to go over this part and over that part. There. So that's one that's on there. So I have one on there, and let's see. How many of these will I need to hold him? So there, he's on there. Now let's hold it from that point. He's on there a little bit, and he's a little loose. So maybe I need a couple. It showed 2 or 3 of them on there. So I'll use a second one. So here we go. Put the second one on. Now again, I'm using an officer for this, corporate officer for this particular project, just to test the waters on this particular situation to see if this works. So now I have two rubber bands on there. So that holds a lot better. So you can get a good idea of that. I think there's got to be a better way to do that kind of apparatus there, in my opinion. And still, these we'll still have to figure out how these can stay on as well, because they keep falling off. So I'm putting them back on again. And there. So there you go. You have the trooper with his weapon there, and his head can go up like that, and his feet can be turned with those ankle rockers. His head can go up, and then his hands can go like that, like it's grabbing the edge of it, kind of. And there you go. So now you have a 6-inch classified scale glider that you can use with your figures and your classified stuff if you want to. I don't think Hasbro is going to be making a classified scale glider, Viper glider, or the G.I Joe Falcon glider. I don't think they're going to be doing that. And I'm curious, we're we're getting green shirts. So I guess I could use a green shirt on that glider, the Falcon glider. Like I could put any of my Cobra troops that I showed off the other day, the trooper, the uh, infantry, or the officer, I guess you could use for this. So it does work for it. So there you go. And he came out of the peg hook off of that. So you definitely need multiples of those elastics, and you're gonna have to figure out how to get these to stay in. Maybe you might need a little super glue to keep these on, but I think it's an interesting thing for classified to have the gliders. We do have the claw now. Claw is about half the size of this, I would say. It's about half this size. Still pretty big, and the claw has a bit of a motor, so that's why I don't think they're going to do this. That's just my gut feeling. I don't think classified will do this, but you know, I've been surprised in the past when they've done stuff, so they might surprise me again. If they do a glider, Falcon and Viper glider, I hope that they come up with a better apparatus, a better way to hold this. So I'm going to take everything apart and put it back the way it was. And then we will get into the Hslab and see what people think about that. The fact that it got funded, and the fact that it's currently 8229 currently. So, all right, so I'm going to take him off here. I got to take these elastics off that are on there. So let's get these off. Elastics seem in pretty good stability as well, because I've had this for quite a while and they seem to hold up pretty good, the elastics. So that's a good sign that they're going to be stable. See if I can get them out. I got one more to get off of here. Well, I can't get that other one off. It's too... Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Then I'll put his backpack back on. And okay. So put these back in here. There. Put the instructions back in there as well. Zip that up. And put him. So it does work. It would need a little bit of finessing. You need a little bit of super glue to keep those wings on, and you need a better way to hold him on there. So I'm going to put him back over here. We'll put all this back in the box. And then we will be done with that. We'll get on to Hslab talk. So let me know if you guys think my new lighting setup is much better than the previous lighting in the chat. Anybody that's in there? Because it took me a little while to get this situated, because I redid this room that I'm in, the theater, my theater, and so I wanted to make sure that it was good for these videos. So there you go. And we are done. Now, when we used to play with these, all you would do is just like toss them. And they were made out of styrofoam, so they got damaged pretty bad. And so there's a little diagram on there that's probably vintage of how they were originally played with. And so there you go. The Viper and the Falcon. All right, so now on to the Hslab. So let's see. So as I was saying before, it has funded today. It funded early, in fact, fairly early this morning at Funded. It's currently at 8229, 6 days to go. Um, let's see. Yeah, so it's actually it's jumped up three. Holy cow! Now it's 8239. It jumped up 10 while I've been doing this. It was 29 a little while ago. Um, so, what do you guys think about this? Do you think we're gonna get all these tiers? I really think we're gonna. I have a feeling we're gonna get the tiers. So if we get Lady J within like let's say, so she's got to be 10,000, I think, right? Lady J is 10,000. Um, let's see. Let's discover. I believe Lady J is um 10,000 backers. Yeah. So if we can get Lady J by like say tomorrow, then I think it's very likely we can get the bivouac by like Monday or Tuesday, and then Flint by Thursday. I think it's very doable. We all need to pitch in and do our thing and get this thing over those stretch goals because, in my opinion, the base Hslab, I don't think it's really worth the 325 with the Snowcat, all the accessories and weaponry and frostbite. I don't think that's worth 325. But you throw in Flint, you throw in Lady J, you throw in the bivouac, you throw in all the extras and bells and whistles and stuff like that. Yeah, then it's definitely more palatable at 325. Um, it's taken a month to get to this point, and it I don't know exactly what the whole thing is with this. There've been a lot of people that have been kind of upset about the bivouac, that it shouldn't have been a bivouac. It should have been more of a tent situation where you could go in and be undercover. Um, there's been a lot of people that would like the the APC aspect, the troop carrying aspect of the Hslab to have some sort of cover. I think it makes sense to try to repurpose the bivouac and make that the cover. You put little holes in all the four corners of the troop carrier part, put the bivouac over it, and then you have an APC, an Arctic APC. And I think that's doable. I'm not an engineer. I'm not the one that has to pay for all this stuff. But a lot of people, that's what they want. They want some sort of covering for those figures in the back. It's asinine that they would be in the Arctic and they wouldn't have a cover over their heads. Yeah, they're going to have coats, but they don't have helmets. They don't have like gear on their heads. So they need some sort of a cover. So that's been a lot of people's issues with this. Pricing has been another issue where people don't feel the price is worth the value. And I kind of agree with them there. Like I said earlier, I think if it was just a 325 for the Snowcat and the weapons and all the accessories and Frostbite, this doesn't really fund. I think the possibility that we can get two more figures in another playset, make this an entire environmental type playset, that's where the value comes in. It doesn't really come in with just the vehicle. The vehicle should have been 275, right? And then you factor in two more figures, 25, 25. There's your 325. And then the bivouac and all that accessories and everything is extra. That's where the balancing of the value for this is. And there was a lot of shots that was shared yesterday and the day before of the Snowcat, of different aspects of it, with the wheels, different playability, with the different uh, doors and parts that come out that you can play with and do some building and mechanical work, and having Frostbite doing different stuff. Showed off all the really cool lights and the interior and everything like that. Looks really good. I think now it also has LED lights. So now you can plug this in and it could stay lit up. It'll be like a nightstand type of a situation, a night light, because it can be plugged in at all times. And when you take it out and you do whatever you want to do with it, then you recharge the LED lights and stuff like that. And it's a little bit different. And it's now something that can last forever, unlike battery powered, where the batteries go bad and you can't really use that forever. So so there's a lot of new technology they're using with this. It is big, like I showed several videos back. A hiss is not as big as a snowcat. It actually is. It's a little taller. It's slightly taller than the snowcat, but the snowcat is wider and it's longer. And so to get two figures in there in the cockpit, the way that they've shown, and Lenny has said this on several interviews, that it has to be bigger. It's got to be bigger than the Hiss in that aspect, wider and longer. And it has the troop carrying part where you can stow the bivouac and you can put all that stuff in there. And the missile part comes off. It can be a missile launcher on its own and be a separate piece. And that's why I said you get into this environmental play set with the bivouac, with the launcher, with all the accessories and play value that comes with this, and the three figures and stuff like that. And then you have a bunch of other figures now. We're getting Iceberg. We have Snake Eyes with the polar bear. That is technically, he was in a snow environment in that uniform with the glowing hands and stuff, with the mass device part, or element, I should say, not part, element. And then we have Snow Job. And then we also have some adversaries. We have the Arctic Bats. We have two versions of the Snow Serpent, two different variations of the Snow Serpent, and we have the Polar Bear already. So all in all, I think this is a nice round environmental play set that you could do a lot of stuff with. On top of that, we're getting all the Cobra La, which they were in the Arctic. And this was an expedition going to the Himalayas to find out where Cobra La was. So in that sense, it pays off for that storyline. It also pays off for the mass device storyline, and you can do some other stuff. So there's a lot of play elements in this that you can do with this story. So I think finally maybe folks are starting to see this, starting to see the play value, play environment, and stuff like that. I've seen it from the very beginning, because I grew up in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, so I liked the snow, and I played out in the snow with my G.I. Joes and stuff. Thankfully, I never lost any Joes out in the snow. I know friends that have, and they found their Joes many years later buried in the dirt and stuff like that, after they played with them. But that never happened to me. And there's a lot of people up north that are G.I. Joe collectors, so I think this is something that would suit a lot of those collectors up there. If they're going to play with it outside, I don't know. I don't think it's not remote control, so you would have to be able to ratchet up those treads to make it look like it's going up a mountain or a crevice or a crag or whatever, and do your photography and your different customization of your environment and stuff like that. So I think it also works for that, but you would have to do that manually. It's not automated. That would have been something if it was automated as a remote control. I've always said, if we do get a tank, it's got to be a remote control tank. It has to be. If Hasbro does a Hslab with a tank, it's got to be remote control. And if we get into all the different aspects of a tank, I think it needs to have multiple attachments. It needs to have the MOBAT attachment. It needs to have the Mauler attachment. It needs to have the bridge layer bridge. It needs to have the Wolverine attachment with the multiple Wolverine missile launchers. It could also maybe have the Lynx attachment, which is technically the Mauler just repainted with camouflage, and then multiple plates to put on the sides. So you would have normal Army drab green as your base. And then if you wanted the Lynx, you would put camouflage plates on it. And if you wanted beige for the Mauler, you would put the beige plates on it and have different attachments that would go on and off depending upon the color. You would have 3 different colors, and then you would have 1, 2, 3, 4 different modular attachments to the top. And you would have to be able to fit 2 figures inside the fuselage. So you would be able to have lights in there. You'd have 2 chairs, kind of like the Snowcat, and you would have movable treads, and you would have a hook on the back, and it would have to be like remote control in order to get that technical aspect, that ultimate classified aspect that all the other HasLabs have had thus far. And then you would be talking, and then you would have 3 pilots. You would have a more classified Steeler, you would have heavy metal, you would have toll booth, and possibly even a variation Sergeant Slaughter to go in the Lynx, or maybe a variation of heavy metal that went with as the mail away heavy metal, or you change heavy metal to incorporate both the mail away and the Mauler pilot, and you do both versions of him. And that's how I would do a tank HasLab if we did a tank HasLab. And this is only speculation. It is one of the vehicle type things that has been on that voted list, that a lot of people got to go and vote on the different HasLabs. And we got the Hiss, we got the Rattler, we got the Dragonfly, and the Snowcat from that list. And so there are other things like the Thunder Machine, the Havoc, and a tank that's on that updated list. So we've gotten several different lists, and we've gotten all the ones from the first list pretty much, except for I think a tank. And now we got the updated list that has the Havoc, Thunder Machine, the Stun I think is in there as well, and a tank. So that's my 2 cents on a HasLab tank. I would personally love the Havoc. Oh my God, the Havoc would be incredible. If the Snowcat, as big as the Snowcat is, the Havoc would just be giant. It would be absolutely giant. And the fact is, that's the only way we could get a cross country, unless they did a non politically correct cross country and changed him and classified him up and did away with a lot of his rebel insignias and things like that. So I don't know how they would do that. And I've talked about the Thunder Machine many, many times. I think it should be a normal pulse orderable situation that's like $150. Hey, good evening, Lone Dragon. Thanks for joining us. The Viper is coming, $575. Yeah, that's true. The Viper is coming, but I don't think we'll ever get a classified Viper. Just to give you that, I think Lenny did mention that they would not be doing the Viper. That was one he did answer somebody's question. Are we going to ever get the Viper? And he says, typically we will not answer whether you're getting something or not, but he says, no, we're not getting the Viper. But the Thunder Machine is another one of those HasLab situations where I don't think it should be HasLab. I think it should be a normal pulse orderable thing for like $150 with a bunch of different Mad Maxy type attachments, different weaponry, different plating, different stuff with a Thrasher. And that's it. That's all you need. right? Because we've got to have Thrasher. They're not going to do Thrasher without the Thunder Machine. They've done vehicle drivers already, 3 or 4 of them without the vehicle. They did CoverGirl, 2 CoverGirls without the Wolverine. And so if my tank idea works, then you could put CoverGirl in the tank, because those people that order 5 Haslabs could put every one of those attachments on a different one and have 5 different tanks. CoverGirl could go with the Wolverine. And so then we got Copperhead. No water moccasin. We've got 2 Copperheads. There's a possibility of a third retro style Copperhead that was more retro colored, that maybe we could get another Copperhead with the water moccasin, and make the water moccasin maybe $100, like the Vamp, the Stinger, the Ostriker scale. That's a possibility down the line. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. And then we got Darklon, but he doesn't come with the spoiler. And then obviously we got 3 different Cobra Troopers. None of them came with the Viper. We have the Viper here to show off. And so there's 4 figures right there, or 4 characters right there that didn't come with their vehicles. But Night Thrasher has to come with his vehicle, or Thrasher has to come with his vehicle. Sorry, Night Thrasher is a Marvel comic character. Has to come with his vehicle. There's no way you would get away with doing Thrasher without the Thunder Machine. People would be furious. Lenny would have given him tattoos and a coffee cup or something instead of the cleaning equipment anyways. Yeah, possibly if they did do them. Yeah, you're right. Because all that stuff's in the line now, some of that stuff. So are you happy that we funded Lone Dragon and Zazel's Clubhouse? Are you guys getting the Snowcat? Or are you ordering multiples of the Snowcat? What do you guys feel about the Snowcat? What do you feel about any of these possible Pulse exclusive or Haslab ideas that I've come up with? We're probably going to get a Moray in 2 or 3 years, possibly a Sky Striker. That Sky Striker is the vintage scale, 4-inch O-ring scale. So we still have a chance of getting the Sky Striker. But I don't know how they would do it. It's going to be absolutely huge. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 possible Haslabs for next year, and they've been doing Joe Cobra, Joe Cobra, Joe Cobra. So this is a Joe. So next year would typically be a Cobra. Are they going to break that mold and do another Joe, or would they go with the Moray, or would they go with the Stun? How would they do it? I don't know. It's all speculation at this point. But I'd like to hear you guys' opinions on it. Hasbro already got all my money. I don't have the funds to back anything. I wanted the tiers a lot more than the vehicle anyway. Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. I think some of the tiers are better, cooler tiers and stuff like that for this, the playability of it. And that's what makes this a whole like play set. And that's why the price value doesn't really add up, in my opinion, for the vehicle and the figure by themselves with the some of the accessories and weapons. You need the entire thing to make the value for this $325. So that's why I was asking everybody if they're going to do it or not. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens. Did you hear when I broke down the time frame? So if we can get to 10,000 by tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, 10,000, then possibly by Monday, 12,000 to get the bivouac, and by Thursday, possibly 14,000. I think that's our breakdown in time. If we're going to get all these tiers, we really need to start moving and get this first one out of the way. Get Lady J out of the way. We're already 8,239, so almost up to 8,300. So I think it's feasible. It's just a matter of if people feel it's feasible for them. if they feel it's gonna fund with all the tiers. Will they do it? I don't know. There's a lot of speculation on that. So that's why I'd like to hear you guys' opinions on this and see what you think about all this stuff. Um, I'm getting two, like I always do. So I'll have two Arctic bivouacs, two frostbites, and two sets of Lady J and Flint. Now, I've thought about this quite a lot. Um, the playability and the reuse of, let's say, Lady J and Flint with Arctic gear. Those costumes can be used for dozens of characters. Any character that was during let's say, Mass Device in the Arctic, Weather Dominator in the Arctic, the BET searching for Cobra La and looking for the BET, any of those areas of playability, animation wise, there's tons of characters that could use Arctic gear. So we are going to probably let's let's hope we get maybe a couple of 2-packs here and there with different characters like Dusty, maybe Bazooka, maybe Scarlet, maybe Duke. So down the road, that gives them more options to give us figures. We probably won't get a lot right off the bat because Iceberg's coming, and then we'll have Frostbite and Snow Job and stuff. So we'll get maybe a 2-pack a year, or maybe a play set, a vehicle with a character with Arctic gear, like a green shirt Arctic gear character, or say a steel core with Arctic gear or something like that. So there's a lot of room to reuse those bucks, the female buck and the male buck. There's a rumor of an Arctic vehicle that's coming this year that supposedly comes with a female character. Now, you could do Dana from the October Guard, who is a legitimate G.I. Joe character. She joined G.I. Joe in the 2000s, and they did figures of her, Dana. So there's a possibility we could get these battle polar bear with Dana in a maybe a pink version of that costume with Lady J Arctic costume, but make it Dana instead in that. And then you could do another regular mainline Dana. So I'm looking at this as a positive, that we are going to get a lot of cool stuff out of these molds, because that Hasbro is going to reuse these molds. Look, they're using the fortification now. We got a steel core with that fortification, and this is our third or fourth steel core. We got the steel core commander, we got the regular steel core, and maybe that's it, 3 so far. But you got to look at things from a practical perspective. What is Hasbro going to make? What can they do with these molds? And this is going to give them the ability to make a lot of stuff. We got the vintage Scarlet because of the Quarrel and the I can't think of the other girl's name that was with the Dragonfly. What was her name? Dana. No, not Dana. It was Quarrel. I don't know. I can't think of the name of the girl that was with the Dragonfly off the top of my head. There was no Dana. There was only Zul. Yeah, Ghostbusters. Glenda. Thank you, Lone Dragon. Glenda, that's it. So we got that mold for Glenda, and then it was subsequently used for Quarrel and Vintage Scarlet. So if you look at the patterns on how they utilize, like the Baroness, we got the Baroness with the Rattler, and we're going to possibly get a Vintage style Baroness with the blue and the yellow using that mold. The same thing with Ripcord and Crazy Legs. We're getting another Crazy Legs and we're getting another Ripcord using those molds. And there's bits and parts of those figures that have been used for the paratrooper in the 60th anniversary line already. And possibly some of that will be reused for Hit and Run. So you've got to look at this stuff down the road. I know people are worried about the budgeting, and because we got a lot of pre-orders coming in right now, I just got 2 more notifications for pre-orders that I did for my Vega Street Fighter and my Skyfire with the 2 Void Rival characters, uh, Derek and Zalia. Those 2 pre-orders have shipped. So there's pre-orders coming in left and right. I know it's hard. It's very difficult. So if you can do this, please, I would love to get this with all the tiers to make it really worth the amount of money for everybody that's spending that money, because that's the key, is to try to get your value for what you're spending. And the value we got for the Colt Slither was really good. We got 4 figures, a beautiful play set with the stage and the whole box, and then all that accessories and stuff like that. $125, that was a bargain, I would say, for that. 4 figures and all that stuff and play set. So that's what it comes down to, is trying to get your money's worth out of this. And I think that's the only way this becomes value, for the value, pay for the value, pays for the value, is if you get all that stuff. So we've got to get a lot more of these ordered. We've got to get all those stretch goals in there. It's going to be tough to get to 14,000, but I think we can do it. As a fandom, we've supported all these other HasLabs. I don't know if we're just giving Hasbro a little gristle there, trying to teach them a lesson and let them be on the edge of their seat or whatever until this funds. I'm not sure. I don't know if you guys are waiting until the last few days to fund, but I really hope we get all these tiers. I really do. I'm glad that it's funded. I hope it doesn't end up divesting at the end and everybody just drops. That would be sad. But so if you guys have any questions you want to ask me, I'll do my best to try to answer some of those questions. So I will say, though, some of the name onlys that they did were great name onlys. Hit and Run, Lifeline, Night Viper, Iceberg, Big Lob. So that's another thing. If you really look at a lot of this stuff, Big Lob is the last of the movie Rawhides. See how they did all the Rawhides? The only one we need, which I'm guessing we're going to get a vintage package Chuckles with the Rawhide shirt on, because we got a vintage Dr. Mindbender, and we're getting all the Cobra Law characters, right? So, and we got, and Dr. Mindbender was a PulseCon exclusive. Chuckles was a PulseCon San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. So I think that would be the last piece of that puzzle, the Rawhides puzzle and the movie puzzle. And we got that piece that was shared, that was a guess, where you had to guess what that is. And I really do believe is the upper chest part of Globulus. So we got to get Globulus. We're getting Royal Guards, and let's hope we can get some Cobra Law denizens to go with Nemesis Enforcer and Pythona. So they're completing that theme, that whole idea. So we need all this Arctic stuff to go up against that idea. And there's a whole playability to this whole entire situation, if you think about it. And I can see people doing phenomenal photography with Cobra Law, plants, and creepy crawlies going against all the Joes in the Arctic. And so then we got Iceberg, right? So I'll give you a little bit inside baseball. There was a list that I've shared on several of my videos, talked about it. I also talked about it in Toy Talk on Sunday afternoons. I do with my co-host Terry, um, uh, Action Media, Terry, and Dan Thompson from the Zone. Um, and we've talked about this list. The list was released in January of this year. And a lot of the stuff that's been name only, a lot of the figures that have been renders have been shown off, have been on that list. Iceberg was on that list. And also a vehicle with a female Arctic figure is on that list. It doesn't say what the female figure is. It just says a female figure with a battle polar bear. So I think we're getting that, and it's gonna be a female, and it's gonna have the Lady J Arctic gear, but it'll be a different color, and that's where I'm getting Dana from, and that's where I'm getting the fact they're going to reuse these molds, the female Arctic and the male Arctic, for other people down the line. We're going to get 2-packs. We're going to get vehicles with figures. And so that's my speculation. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. You can tell me if you feel that I'm crazy in the chat. But I'm trying to be logical. I'm putting this stuff together, trying to make sense of it all from historical precedent and the way that Hasbro and the Hasbro team has done things in the past. Trying to add 2 + 2 = 4. You know, I hope it makes sense. I hope it all comes to fruition exactly the way I'm saying. But if it doesn't, and I'm wrong, then I'll come back and I'll tell you guys that I was mistaken and I'm wrong. But I think there's a really good opportunity here with this Hslab to get a lot of cool stuff down the line. You've got to look at the future of this line, look at the future of classified in order to see that from right now till then, based on everything that's going on. I wish that they would let me be on one of those poll things. I would love to be on that because I would try to talk all this stuff up the best I could. But it's just one of those things. I haven't been invited to be on that. I know people that have been invited. So, and I have on good authority some other things that are coming down the road. I thought for sure we were going to be getting certain things. There's other vehicles that are coming. There's other figure and vehicle things that are coming. We know there's figure and pets, several of those. There's several 2-packs that are coming. So there's a lot of good stuff coming. It's just a matter of the fiscal responsibility. Yeah, I know it's hard. I buy a lot of collectibles and I buy a lot of toys. You guys that have been watching my videos, you know I get a lot of stuff. You only see probably a third of the things that I buy. I also buy Marvel Legends. I also buy vintage and Black Series Star Wars. And I buy a little bit of oddball stuff too that are outside. And I'm a huge comic collector as well. So you can imagine the amount of money I'm spending and trying to be fiscally responsible. I'm trying to be careful, just like you guys are. I'm on a budget, but I'm on a different budget than you guys might be, might not be. I don't know. Maybe you're in the same scale as me. I'm not sure. But we're all in the same boat. We're all watching our pennies. We're all being careful. So I understand everybody being careful and watching their pennies and stuff like that. So I'm curious about the Hslab. It ends in 6 days. So I believe, so that's today is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's on the East Coast. So it's midnight Thursday on the East Coast. And Thursday is a payday. So that's another thing that I've been watching is how this goes up on paydays, Thursdays. That's why this yesterday and today it went up and we funded. Last week it took a big jump as well during San Diego Comic-Con the week before. So it seems to go up almost a lot on paydays. Next Thursday, the last day, is a payday. So I hope that's where we really get that last tier and we get everything funded. But again, speculation. Um, but I'm using logic. I'm using trying to piece all these mysteries and puzzles together. So I hope you guys enjoyed my Hslab discussion, and I hope you enjoyed my Viper uh, um, review and putting up the figure and stuff like that. I would have to do some adjustments on that. I think I may have to get like a larger rubber band, like a thicker black rubber band to hold him. It would be a lot more sturdier, I think. But I think you could really do some cool stuff with that. I'm not a customizer or a photographer, a diorama person, but I think you could do some fun stuff with the gliders if you wanted to. Lone Dragon, aren't you a photographer and guy that builds dioramas for O-ring and 4-inch scale? Do you have the glider, and have you ever done any photography with that? I'm just curious. So I said the other day on my last video, we're going to be doing Crocmaster next. So this is going to be a fun one because he's one of the that 1 year's villains where they had a bunch of really cool villains that year. We had Armor Coco, we had Raptor, we got Croc, we got Big Boa, Crystal Ball, all these really fun Cobras that year. That was a really good year. That was like what, 86 or 87? 87. So that's cool. And a little bit of a hint as to Crocmaster's first comic book appearance, and it gives you a couple of hints on things that we know are coming and things that possibly could be coming. Interesting, right? Interesting first appearance for Crocmaster. I'll only collect let's see. I only collect 6. No room to build any diamonds. Oh, so I think it's another one of my guys. Is it Lenny Honda? I think it's Lenny Honda that does it. There it is. Yo, dudes. Lenny Honda, I just spoke about you. You're the one that does the dioramas of the O-ring and 4-inch, right, Lenny Honda? Let me know because I was just asking Lone Dragon. I knew it was somebody in that regularly shows up in the chat, but I couldn't recall if it was Lone Dragon or if it was you. Yes, sir. All right, cool. So we did the Viper. We did the Viper. We did the Viper glider that I was talking to you guys about the other day. Bobby World, I'm doing a massive classified diorama. Is it like I just described, Bobby World? You're her diorama guy too? Is it with all the Arctic characters and the Cobra La, with all the weird plants and all the weird gobbledygook, with all the Arctic characters eating them and them coming for the BET? That would be totally epic if you could do that diorama with all these Arctic. But first, we got to get this Hslab funded. Well, it's funded, but we need to get all these tiers so we can get some fun stuff in the future. Lenny Honda, yeah, it's nothing exciting right now. I just have a couple bivouac sets with the classified Snake Eyes, Stalker, and Storm Shadow from 2006. Oh, okay. Well, that's still cool. Nothing wrong with that. It's like a Vietnam type with the LERP team set up. Lenny Honda. I think we're going to get a LERP team as well in classified. All the parts are there to do a LERP team. It's just a matter of whether they would do Snake Eyes like that or not. Cobra Island with an airfield for the Rattler and a Terradrome. Well, no, that's great too. An airfield with the Rattler and stuff. I think that's phenomenal. Lone Dragon. I thought he said Archie characters and was picturing Jughead versus Cobra. Yeah, Archie. That's funny. Um, but no, that's phenomenal too. So you gotta have to have a big Terradrome playset in order to do that, right? Um, Bobby World. So wow. But those things are phenomenal. You guys should come to Joe Fest and show me this stuff, or send me pictures of it, because I like looking at it, but I can't do it myself. So I'm living vicariously through you guys in the chat. This is the best I can make, is a display to put toys on. So there you go. I did put that airfield for my Sky Striker down, though. I put it together and I opened it up. So I did do that. Exactly, Dave. And the green guys from the 82 and 83 are manning the perimeter. Oh, okay, cool. So what do you guys think about some of this Hslab stuff? Are you guys glad? Are you excited that the Snowcat's been funded? And what do you think about these tiers? And what do you think about the possibility of some of the stuff that I've been talking about in this video? Do you think it's a possibility this could get all the tiers? What do you guys think? I like talking to you guys. You're all really cool group of guys, and I appreciate you joining me in the chat all the time. You can send it to David T. Allen on Messenger, on Facebook Messenger. David T. Allen. You have to have the T in there because my name is a very common name. So there you go. David T. Allen on Messenger. You can send the pictures there. All right. I look forward to seeing some of that. So yeah, I don't know. It's a puzzle, but we'll get there. Bobby World, you think the Snowcat is cool? You backed one. Great, thank you. As much as we can get backed, we need to, because I want to get all those tiers. I want to get that value, all those tiers for that 325 value. And if you are a Pulse Premium member, your shipping is free. So it's not going to be that much more, just the tax on the Hslab. So it would be about 38 or something with tax. But the shipping would be free. Just need you to talk to me out of the mask pre-order. Oh, the mask pre-order. The mask pre-order. I'll go into this a little bit. Lenny Honda. I think because all Loyal Subject toy lines that they got the license from Hasbro have been through my company. My company is Walmart. I work for Walmart. They've had all of them. They've had My Buddy, Carmen Sandiego, Gem, My Pet Monster. All of them have showed up at Walmart. I think that the mask base vehicles with figures are all going to show up there, and they're going to be much cheaper than Big Bad Toy Store. I think the only reason why they did the Big Bad Toy Store is because they don't have a Hasbro Pulse to go to. So they needed a bump to get a early bird type situation for those vehicles, to get some money, to get that project funded, and to get the ability to make more. So I think that's why Big Bad Toy Store was the place that they went to. But I believe mass market is going to have all those mask vehicles. I would be shocked if they didn't, especially Loyal Subjects. They're all at Walmart. I don't think they're at Target. Not to derail G.I Joe. No, there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the whole thing. If you look over here, you really can't see it. I'm going to move my camera slightly. Move my camera slightly. See that over there? Right there? My favorite mask vehicle, the Hurricane, with I can't think of his name. His name was just on the top. Oh, Hondo McLean. So Lenny Hondo, you should change your name to Hondo McLean, or you already have that name, Lenny Hondo. That's funny. Um, Now I'm crooked. I don't know. I moved my camera. Now I'm crooked. I'll fix it later. Oh, there it goes. Um, no, that's terrible, Lone Dragon. I know you're trying to be funny, but no, don't do that. Um, I get people that try to friend me all the time that are like that do stuff like that. No, sorry. Uh, so so that's the thing, Lenny Honda. I can talk you out of it, but ultimately it's your money, it's your own business. But I can guarantee, almost 100% guarantee, I would say about 93% that Walmart's going to get those mask vehicles. If you stay on top of it, you should be able to get those in the fall when they do their reset. And the reset's in the next couple of weeks. So they're going to be resetting. And I will be the first person to let you know if I find them at Walmart, because I'll be getting them through Walmart and they'll be cheaper. And I will show them off here. No Cheney. What does that mean, Lenny Honda? Lone Dragon. I'm not sure. So it all comes back to what I was saying earlier: budgeting and weighing out your different wants, desires, your responsibilities. It all comes down to that. You have to weigh that all out in your own head and figure it out. And hopefully, you come up with the best choice for you. I waited on that, and I'm gonna try. I'm gambling on the Walmart situation. I believe it's gonna happen. So I'm looking forward to that because they just showed off Wave Two, or temporary or preliminary Wave Two of Mask, and guess what's in Wave Two of Mask? Uh, the hurricane. So I really want this to go forward. I want it to continue because I want to get that hurricane, that newer version hurricane with Hondo McLean. So yeah, so I'm really wanting that. So I'm with you. I want the mask vehicles. I really do. But I'm not going to do that big bad toy store bundle for $350. I'm not going to do that. It's too expensive. If I have to buy them one by one on the aftermarket, if they don't come to Walmart, I'll just do it that way. It may be a little bit pricier one by one that way, but I'm not going to spend that much money on those four vehicles. I just won't do it. So I'm praying and I'm gambling on the Walmart situation. So stick in there with me, and hopefully we'll both be pleasantly surprised and happy, and we'll be able to get them. They're going to be a lot more prevalent at Walmart's because there are like nearly 5,000 Walmarts around the world, so you'll be able to get it. So that's just my 2 cents on it. A lot of 2 cents, but more like $2. um, I'm retired military and have some disposable income. Um, like I said before, I collect 3 3/4 for my main passion. That's my main focus. I see. I understand. A lot of people wanted those to be O-ring scale. They would have been way bigger if they were O-ring scale, but I would have liked that. Then we could have did crossovers and stuff like that, and some of the GI Joe Transformer crossovers could have worked with it. So you could have did GI Joe Mask and Transformer crossovers all together if they were O-ring scale. Um, just thought it would be cool to get on these on the ground floor. Yeah, the old ones. Mechanisms seem to be very finicky. Yeah, the old mechanisms. If I bring my hurricane over here to show you guys, let's see. It is finicky. It is finicky. I'm going to show this on here. I only collect the jackhammer as a kid. Wanted more. Well, jackhammer is the other one that's going to come with the next tier. They showed off at San Diego Comic-Con, Lenny Honda. It's the jackhammer, the Hurricane, and 2 blacked out vehicles that we didn't get. So 4 more vehicles. And they claim they're going to be doing vehicles that were never done in the vintage line of Mask. So here we go. So I'm going to close it out, put everything down, and I'll show you this. If I can get it to go down. Oh, I have to do this. There. So it looks like that, right? I don't have the tire that ejects. There's a thing on the front that ejects the tire. It's like a bomb. I don't have that. But let's see. So the first thing is you turn the top, and it drops, and it becomes a 3-wheeler or a 6-wheeler, right? Yeah. And then you have to open up this compartment. I don't know which way it is. Oh yeah, open this compartment on the top here, boop, and that comes out. Did you see that? And then that opens up like that, and it becomes like a tank. It almost looks like a tank Mask vehicle. So there. So it is a little bit clunky, but I love it. It was my favorite Mask vehicle when I was a child, and I really love it. And it drives, and it's a little worn. It's a little worn, but it looks good. I like it. It's a Ford. I wish I could get a real Ford and paint it like this. Wouldn't that be something to have a full size, life size scale version of the Hurricane? I've seen cars like this, but they're not painted quite like this, blue or red or white. If I had a lot of money, or won the lotto or something like that, I would do that. I think it would be awesome to do that. I don't think I could do all the other stuff. I would just have the car. But there you go. There's the Hurricane. So I'm with you on that, Lenny Honda. So you and I will be keep in touch with me about that, and we will commiserate together and try to be successful and happy together with this. Okay, you and I. Firefly was my one Mask vehicle as a kid. Oh, okay. Cool, Lone Dragon. Firefly is a pretty cool vehicle. A lot of them are really cool, you know. There was a lot that were released in Europe that never were released in America. There was a book, I think it was the Toy Files or whatever. There's a book, and it has all the Mask vehicles in there. Man, there was a lot of Mask vehicles, way more than I thought. I only got the first 2 or 3 years, but there was a 4th year, and there was a lot in Europe that was released for Mask. I'm wondering if we'll get some of that stuff that was never released in America, and they start mixing and matching. But first, this first wave has to be successful, and then the second wave. So that's all going to be how it's going to determine whether we're going to get all this stuff. But yeah, it'd be really cool to get all those. They have said they want to do the female character that was in Mask. She never got her vehicle, or I think they did her as a figure with another vehicle, but she never got her vehicle. So they already said, I think John Warden was interviewed at Toy Fair and a couple of different places, that they said they're going to do the female figure with her vehicle for the first time ever. So that's going to be an original Mask vehicle. Maybe that'll be in wave 2 with the Hurricane. Yeah, I liked it a lot. The only thing I didn't like about it was the bomb that dropped out when the wings popped out. Like, how was that going to be effective? Yeah, because you need the bomb when you're flying, right? You don't want to fall out after you activate it. Yeah, that makes sense. But that's the same thing with this. I don't have the bomb on mine because I got lost, because this little button right here in the front opens and it ejects the bomb, and so it got lost. So that's That's a lot of mask talk for this episode. That's supposed to be a Haslab and a classified Viper one, but I love mask, and it's all part of this world that we try to support. Gem, Mask, Rom, Micronauts, Action Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers. It's all in that world. Even in humanoids, I can include, and cops. I include all this, and I'm also ordering the cops from Big Bad Toy Store. Those figures, that's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to get those. Um, do I collect all the reaction figs? Did you see that the San Diego Comic Con Serpentor Cobras look amazing? Yes, I do collect all the Reaction Plus, and I also got all the Reaction regular G.I. Joes. There are one or two exclusives that I have to track down. I have yet to get. I'm still looking for the Python Bat O-Ring Reaction Plus and the Cobra Commander Reaction Plus. I'm looking for those two, and I have the San Diego Comic Con ones on order as well. But yeah, I get all that, all Reaction. I try to support as much GI Joe as feasibly possible. I can only do so much. Like the stuff that is like in the hundreds of dollars, those figures that are 3-0 and a lot of that. High end stuff I can't get. So I do get all Reaction. I do get all of Hasbro. I do try to get a lot of the ancillary GI Joe stuff in other brands. I do. I am involved in Renegade Game Studios. I try to get the video games. I try to get the Flame toy models. I try to get as much as I can to support the brand. But like I said, I'm only one person. I can only do so much. And everybody else is one person. But when we put our power together, that's when we speak. And we speak as a group. And that's why I'm trying to get everybody to get the Haslab Snowcat so we can speak as a group and get all those tiers funded. But yeah, I do. I get a lot of stuff. I also get the Haya GI Joes. I did a video not too long ago where I showed off 3 new Haya figures, and those are expensive. Hayas are they're upwards of $25 to $60 depending upon where you get them. But I want to get 4-inch figures, so I'm supporting that, and they're only from Japan, so they're really cool. Let our power combined. Earth. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like Captain Power. We all combine and we're successful. And that's why this brand classified and this brand G.I. Joe has been successful for 62 years. It started in 1963, the original G.I. Joe, and it's now 2025. For 62 years this brand has been going because of us fans in different iterations, different fan bases, but we all came together. We all made this brand successful. That's the only reason why G.I. Joe initially in 63 was successful, again in 82 was successful, in the 2000s, even though the new sculpt era is not fondly remembered. It was a huge branding period for this brand. It was all over the place. There was 2 or 3 different animated movies, tons of different variations of the toys, every aspect of the toy you can think of. 12-inch, 4-inch, O-ring, vintage, this, that, the other, 2-packs, comic 2-packs. There was tons of stuff. And now, again, the 2025, right? Classified. It's been hugely successful. Brand is all over the place. So we've done this 4 times. We've made this brand the success that it's been for 62 years. Oh, you got your order fulfillment for your San Diego Comic Con? What is that? The Cold Slither? I'm waiting on mine, so I hope that's what it is. Yeah, I got a couple other ones. My Vega Street Fighter and my Skyfire and Celia and Jarek O-Ring crossover Void Rivals. They uh, I got those yesterday, so I'm hoping I get my Cold Slither one today because I would love to get those as well. So there's stuff coming all the time. Well, I think I've been on here long enough, jibber jabbering and talking to you guys. I thank everybody in the chat. It's been a real pleasure talking to you guys about all this stuff. Like I said, Croc Master's coming up next. He's going to be 38. Oh, for the Serpentor figure from um, Super 7? Oh, okay. So I should probably be getting mine as well. I haven't yet, but I probably will. Um, so, like I said, thank you everybody in the chat. I appreciate everybody watching after the fact. It's gratifying that people are still wanting to see these videos and talk with me and chit chat. And this community is very important to me. I try to support it back, and I appreciate the support in return. You guys are always wonderful and gracious and respectful to me on here, and I know not everybody is like that on all the other podcast channels out there. So I appreciate you guys all being respectful and hanging out with me and chit chatting. So I hope this video was enlightening for you, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video. And Yo, Joe!